If you like this video, please click like, share it, subscribe buttons down there. And if you want coaching with me in Nottingham Online, all the information is in the bio. How you doing? So this week I'm going to talk about the magic pause. A lot of people talk about the pause. A lot of stuff out there about the pause is magic because you'll keep potting balls. But what is the pause? All it is really is the pace of turnaround from backwards to forwards on your final swing. It's not magic. Because the only thing that's affecting the cue ball is the 1/10 of a second you're in contact with it, the tip, at that point. So it doesn't matter what everything else is doing really, as long as you get that bit right. But, like I said on Stephen Hendry's channel, everybody's got a pause, you should just keep going backwards. But you look at professionals, they've got a consistent pause. Now, a lot of amateurs have got a very quick turnaround. Now that could be anxiety or whatever, but the reason a more deliberate turnaround is better is because it's easier to control the cue tip basically. So some players will benefit from slowing it down a little bit. But what they do, they go down rabbit holes, we've seen the videos, they've been told this, that, the other, that, you know, try and pause, they do counting, all these other stuff, but again, it's distracting you from the game. So here's a little tip on how I think you can create a more consistent turnaround, pause, without actually distracting yourself from actually playing. Check this out. Right, so here we go. So how do we get a longer pause without trying to pause? So obviously you see a lot of people, you know, they're getting down the shot and then it's it. Ooh, it's a bit quick. Now, what that does, like I said, the pause doesn't really do anything, but in order to control the Q-tip to the white, that's hard to control when it's such a quick turnaround. I mean, ultimately, you could have a hit like a hummingbird's wing, right? But if you hit the correct part of the cue ball on the right point, in the right speed, it'll go in. It'll play the best shot ever. But obviously, it's hard to do that with such a quick turnaround because it's just lack of control, really. So players have a more deliberate motion from backwards to forward because it's just easier to control. But some people do struggle with that, be it a bit of anxiety or just a habit, really, of just going. You know, it's like a chord spring, right? You want a bit more of a push, consistent pendulum type motion. But like I say, people still struggle with it. Now, people talk about which ball you should look at when you actually strike the cue ball. My good friend Chris Henry talks about this a lot. I'm an object ball player. When I mean, it makes sense to look at the white when you hit it, but I've just always looked at the object ball. So if I try and look at the white, it's really tough for me to do. I even miss sometimes when I look at the white, mad. So obviously you've got to choose what's right for you. There's no right or wrong there. Some, you see, look at the top players of the game, some are object ball, some are cue ball players, some flip between the two. Like I say, find something that you can repeat. So if you're like me and you've chose the object ball, a way of trying to create a pause without actually trying to pause, because remember, people get a bit too wrapped up, I need to pause, but while they're thinking about pausing, they're not thinking about aiming, which is obviously a bad thing. Anything that, you know, drags your attention from that is not a good thing. So, a good way of doing this and keeping focused on aiming is this. When I've done my little aiming, checks, there, that, the other, when it gets back to the cue ball, I look at the object ball and I don't hit it until I've really stared at the object ball. And that just gives me a longer pause because the time it takes me to go, look up and go there, then I hit it. So it just gives me a longer pause without trying to do that. And like I say, when I don't just look at the object ball, really, when you pull your cue back, if you're an object ball player, when you pull your cue back and take that final look at the ball that you're trying to pot, don't just stare at it, stare at the exact point you're aiming for. And the little bit of time it takes you to just focus on it will just give you a bit of a longer pause, turn around, whatever you want to call it, like this. Final look, there I'm hitting, and then I pot it. Like I say, there's no right or wrong about how long the pause is. You look at all the top players in the world, they've all got a different turnaround. Some are more deliberate than others, some are they don't even stop, it's just like one motion. But all you're trying to do is create a consistent turnaround, because that's what you need to do. And then it becomes a feeling. Everything about the cue action becomes a feeling. If you're having to consciously think about your cue action, no good. Honestly, I promise you, that ain't gonna help you, because again, it distracts you from actually playing the game, which I'm always trying to push. So I think this is a little tip that will keep your attention on the game, but hopefully give you that more consistent turnaround. So there you go. Obviously, if you're a cue ball player, you would flip that and stay with the cue ball for longer. It's just a nice, easy way of creating that more consistent turnaround, because that's what you're looking for, consistency, something that you're comfortable with, that you can repeat, and then you can crack on, because again, it's got to, like I say there, it's got to become a feeling, and your focus is on the game. It's massive, it's huge if you're going to get better, because again, a lot of the stuff out there is just distracting you, and more importantly, it's actually more enjoyable when you're thinking about the green bit. It really is, and that's what we were doing it for, let's be honest. So let me know how you get on, comment below, and I'll see you soon.